Greetings YouTube and welcome back to my channel. My bike is in for a major service and a recall on the shaft drive, so I've got this beast. The 900 GS for the day. I'm going to put it through its paces and see what the fuss is all about. Let's have it. So this beast looks like it means business to me. Acropovic exhaust, which is actually a collaboration with BMW by the looks of it, designed for BMW Motorrad. This has got off-road tyres on it. I've got to be completely honest, I haven't done any research at all. I wasn't expecting to have this. My bike is in for a major service. I'm getting distracted now. Look at that R9T, that's lovely. The Urban, yeah, I like that. So my bike is in for a major service and a recall. A big recall on the shaft drive. I think they're replacing it. And they said they can have it all day, so they've sorted me out with a loan bike for the day. So I haven't done any research on any facts or figures with this bike. Just got it. They said, what do I want? And I said, I'll have a 900 GS, please. And that's what they've given me. So this will be a nice, relaxed test ride. I mean, when I do test rides anyway, it's never a tech fest. It's not loads of facts and figures. It's just my impressions of what I think of the bike, and that's what I will give you. But thus far, I can tell you the seat's a lot firmer than I'm used to, but this is a bike designed for a different type of riding to what I do. I don't think this is particularly a bike intended for massive long days in the saddle and touring. This is a fun hooligan machine, I reckon. Something you might take along the Tet or something. I may eventually get out of here. So this bike has shift assistance or a quick shifter, which I will forget to use all the time, I'm sure, but it will do my dodgy hand and elbow the world of good to use. Right, so initial impressions, it feels much narrower, obviously, than my GSA, and as usual I'm going to be comparing stuff to the GSA, because that is what I'm used to. That's the one I've put the thousands and thousands of miles on. It feels lighter, it feels slimmer, it feels higher, the seat feels harder. I'm looking forward to riding this today. And the weather's cracking as well, which makes a real change. And I'm going the wrong way. Thank you. Nice clear display. Currently 16 degrees, that's nice. So as I said, I haven't researched anything about this. I didn't know I was getting it. And I can't even tell you whether the screen is adjustable. I'm guessing it probably is, but I have no idea. Nice smooth quick shifter. Riding position at the moment feels very comfortable. I'm obviously not going to take it off-road, but I will definitely try and see what it's like standing and give it as good a go as I can. Well, I'm enjoying the quick shifter very much. Makes a very nice change not to be clutching all the time. It's definitely rapid. Much faster it feels than my 1200 GSA. And I think just the ergonomics of the bike and the response of the engine and the throttle makes me want to ride it faster. I'm always quite a pootler on my bike. I just noticed it's set in dynamic mode, so that I guess explains why it feels so responsive. I like the colour scheme as well, that looks nice. As I said earlier, this isn't a tech fest, it's not an in-depth review, it's just my impressions of the bike, and it really is this is my initial impressions of the bike because I wasn't expecting to be on it. It's a case of, do you want a courtesy bike? Your bike's going to take a long time to be sorted. I think 3 hours for the recall on the shaft, and then another couple of hours for the service. It's a major service this time on my bike. And I said, yeah, let's have a 900 GS, that'll be fun. I like the display, it's very clear. For myself, I wear glasses. I can ride without glasses, but everything's a bit clearer on the display if I've got them on, and this is crystal clear. I can see obviously how fast I'm going, everything's nicely laid out, gear I'm in, fuel at the top, what mode I'm in, top right hand corner, and then we've got the temperature and my lights, etc. bottom left. Yeah, it's nice. Well, the bike feels very, very stable on the corners, and we've got knobbly tyres on at the moment. Doesn't feel twitchy in any way whatsoever. I like this a lot. It's fun to ride, incredibly responsive. I'm liking the fact it's narrow. I stood up on the pegs a moment ago going over some speed bumps. I'll just stand up again now. Ergonomically it's a good fit. I'm not having to reach down for the handlebars. It all feels good. I could enjoy this bike a lot, I think. So a very nice burble coming from that end can. Every now and again I forget. Did you hear that? Pop, pop, pop. Love it. Every now and again I forget that I've got the quick shifter and I still clutch. It'll take me a while to get used to that. I guess it's a good halfway house between a normal manual bike and a DCT like the Africa Twins Honda offer. Still a bit more engaged, I guess. I am really enjoying riding this bike. Now, interestingly, and whether I'm being controversial here or not, I don't know, but interestingly, this feels, despite the fact it's not got a boxer engine, it feels more in the heritage of the GS to what I know, like my old 1200 and the 1200 I had before that, than the new 1300. I mean, the profile looking down is very similar. It's narrow and it tapers at the front and it's got a tiny screen. I think this screen's more effective than the 1300 screen personally. But it just feels more familiar. I felt a little bit like a fish out of water at times on the 1300, but this, you know, if I was to close my eyes, I could be riding my 1200, which is probably a weird thing to say, because I'm sure there's many differences, you know, just the width and the weight, because this is weightless compared to my old 1200 GSA. This also is far more responsive. I love the quick shifter. I'm repeating myself, I know, but as I said, this was kind of an unplanned test ride. I was hoping for a courtesy bike, and being offered the 900 is a complete bonus, so why not make a film of it? It's just fun to ride. I haven't ridden a T7 10RA yet, which I will do at some point. I had the old XT660Z 10RA back in the day and did some long tours on that. That was a vibey old beast. I always felt a bit underpowered. I'm imagining there's similarities between the T7 and this. I don't know. I will take one out at some point and see what I think. Right, I'm going to park up and have a walk around the bike. Well, I'm sure you've already worked out from my comments whilst riding that I really like this bike. I really do. The fit and finish is exactly as you'd expect from a BMW. I really like this colour scheme as well. I don't know what you'd call it, lime green or some sort of yellow. Really nice. I think it contrasts nicely with the black and also the red frame. That works for me a lot. I like the blacked out engine, although it's got a kind of metallic-y look to it. Now, regarding aesthetics and the look of the bike, very conventional looking headlight here. I feel if BMW had stuck that on the front end of the new 1300, the reception would have been very different. Sorry about all the traffic noise in the background if you can hear it. I didn't realise just how busy this road is. I thought I'd take us into the woods away from everywhere, but it's just car after car after car. Anyway, as I always say, this isn't a tech fest. It's not some in-depth review. It's just my thoughts, my initial impressions as a rider of riding this bike. And as I said, I like it a lot. I have, now that I've got myself a bit organised, I've looked up some of the stats, and I will get my phone out because I can't remember them and just go over a few things with you, and yeah, carry on with the review. So, regarding the engine, we've got a water-cooled 2-cylinder 4-stroke engine with 4 cam operated valves per cylinder, 2 overhead camshafts and dry sump lubrication. It's putting out 105 horsepower, 8,500 RPM, and it's also putting out 93 Newton meters of torque at 6.750 RPM. You can feel every single one of those, I assure you. It's also got electronic intake pipe injection, digital engine management, and throttle by wire, as you'd expect on a modern bike like this. So it's got an endless O-ring chain with shock damping in the rear wheel hub, which is something I've not come across before. And as you'd expect on a bike like this, it's got a 21-inch wheel up front and a 17-inch wheel at the back, which is going to give you loads and loads and loads of choice with tyres, particularly off-road tyres, which is good because it's an enduro machine. Of that I have no doubt, having ridden it. So we've got Brembo brakes all round. These hauled me up no problem at all. And in terms of suspension, upside down forks, as you'd also suspect, really meaty stanchions, and we've got 230mm of travel at the front and 215mm of travel at the rear, and it feels fairly firm. I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think it's electronic suspension on here. I can see a preload adjustment there. Old school, but it certainly does the job. I'm not sure what actual spec this particular bike is, other than I was told at the dealership that it's set up for off-road fun, which obviously on a loan bike, a test bike, I'm not going to be taking it off-road. I don't want to damage it and pay all the heavy excess. However, seat height, actually quite like this. I know I'm deviating here. That's a nice little touch, that looks nice. So seat height, right, so I'm just going to read this to you because I'm not sure what seat height this is. All I know, at 5'10", it's okay. I'm tiptoes as opposed to flat foot like I am on the GSA. But anyway, it says 870mm brackets, OE lowering 815mm, OE rally seat high 890mm, OE rally seat low 835mm, OA single seat 870mm. So there's lots and lots of choice, and you probably get something lower if you're a little bit shorter in the inside leg. It is Piccadilly Circus. Right, what does it weigh? It weighs, just wait for these cars. I guess the sunshine has brought people out. It is a Friday morning though. Everybody should be in work, surely. So the weight of the bike, unladen weight, road ready, fully fueled, is 219 kilograms. That's considerably lighter than what I'm used to, and I can feel it. Every movement, everything, it's just easier. The permitted total weight is 445 kilograms. Width is 943mm without accessories. Now, when I was at the dealership, I was told there are no luggage options for this at all. And the guy at the dealership, who is very knowledgeable, was saying that it would be a very different style of riding to what I'm used to, because I'm used to all the luggage and I just poodle along, and it is a very different riding style. Height 1,393mm, and that's just above that little windshield. And as I said earlier, I think that's more effective. It's probably this scoop here. I think that's more effective than the GS 1300 windshield. And it says its length over the splash guard. I'm not actually quite sure what the splash guard is. Maybe it means this, I don't know. Over the splash guard is 2,270mm. So this is turning into the tech fest I said it wouldn't be, but I'm just reading off my phone. Also, usable tank volume is 14.5 litres. So I would imagine if you're happy, a bit happy-go-lucky with that throttle, as I think the bike would make you, you'll be visiting quite a few fuel stations. So this has an Acropovic exhaust on it, which is designed for BMW Motorrad. It sounds gorgeous. It's got that kind of burble and pop that I really like. And I'm going to turn it on, and so you can hear it. So I like this display. It looks very similar, if not the same, to what's on the 1300. Get this nice pretty little GS thing come up at the start. Completely pointless, but it's nice nonetheless. Let's start it up. Come round and have a listen to the exhaust. feel it chucking out air from here. I'll give it a little blip. Sounds great. So, your revs, fuel, telling me I'm in dynamic mode, my headlights, temperature, time, gear selection. As with all BMWs, these flash until you actually pull off. Very familiar to me having a GS is the toggle switch, which will help you with the menu button. I'm not going into all that, this is just a brief look. This one's got heated grips on, which is always quite important, and you've got this bar for mounting a sat-nav. Probably if I was mounting a sat-nav on this, I wouldn't choose a BMW one, sorry BMW, but I think there are better ones out there. I don't know what probably a Garmin Zuno XT, something like that. It also has a USB port there, so you can charge stuff up, and it also has the DIN outlet, 12-volt outlet. But from the little I've ridden it and the little I've ridden it standing up, these foot pegs, very secure feeling under my boots. I've got 4 adventure boots on. If it's not the cars trying to disturb me, it's dogs. Here comes another car. So that felt really firm and secure. Liked that a lot. Just like the GS that I've got, this has this adjustment here where you can pull this across, drop it down, and you raise the height of the brake lever when you're stood off-road playing. Very useful. This also has, and I like it a lot, and it's something that I would consider if I can do it as an aftermarket fitment to my bike. I think I will, because my left hand always suffers. It has the quick shifter, so I'm sure you're all completely familiar with how these work, but when it's activated, you don't need the clutch. You don't need to throttle off, you just change up and down through the box. Obviously you still need the clutch when you pull up to stop, but it just takes a lot of work out of it. And for somebody like myself with dodgy hands, where I've got arthritic fingers and thumbs and stuff, which it hurts to operate the clutch, it's a good midway point between having a DCT kind of bike and a manual bike. I would definitely look into that. So the engine is water cooled. There's not a lot of protection going on for the radiator there, but I'm sure there's lots of aftermarket things you can get. And it's also a Euro 5 engine, so probably as clean as it gets at the minute. I'm surprised for an enduro bike that the bash plate is quite small. It's not covering this lower exhaust or the front here. There's no protection for that, which I guess is catalytic converter and all that stuff. So again, I'm sure there's lots of aftermarket or even BMW accessories that could protect this more. I think that looks quite vulnerable if you're bouncing over rocks and things. Not that I would be bouncing over rocks. So whenever I look at one of these bikes and do my kind of layman's review that I do, I always ask myself, would I want one? And the answer this time is a resounding yes. Definitely 100%, and I would have one as a first bike if I didn't already have my 1200 GS8, which I love to bits. In simple terms, I think it's a gorgeous looking bike. I think it's fun to ride, and that's probably the most important thing of all. It's fun to ride. Throw some soft luggage over the back here and you've got a bike that could take you around the world 100%. In a more capable way than a great big GSA, because it would be easier to get along really rutty, muddy, dirty trails in South America. So all I need to do now is take it back to the dealership, and for once I'm not itching to get the bike back. Usually I'm really glad to jump onto my bike after test riding another bike, but I've got a sneaky feeling I'm going to be very sad when I hand this over again. I like it so much. Oh, one thing that I didn't mention that I will do now is the rear foot pegs. Even with them in, I find the back of my legs as I'm paddling the bike or about to pull off interfere. I find that they're in the way a bit. If I was going around the world and I knew I was just going to be by myself, I would take that off unless that was needed to hold luggage away from the exhaust pipe or something, because I think they're a little bit in the way. It's just my thoughts. Anyway, as I was saying, I will be sad to hand this back, but I think it's time to do so. I've been very lucky to have it for a day. Thank you to my friends at Wollaston BMW in Northampton, particularly Owen, and I hope you enjoyed today's episode. This very, very basic look at the F900 GS, and that's quite fitting that a car's driving past as I say goodbye to you. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.